In the Odyssey, book 6.
Yeah, book 6. Let's see. Book 6 is where Odysseus lands on Scheria,
Mm-hmm.
and it begins. There's two stories or two threads. Odysseus lands, he's parked overnight and is sleeping. Meanwhile, Nausicaa is spurred to commit laundry in a river near where Odysseus has landed, unbeknownst to her. So she um, negotiates with her father for the mules and the carriage, and she takes out her attendants, her slaves, and they go out to wash laundry. And after they're done washing laundry on the river down by the bay or whatever, they play ball, and the noise that they're playing ball wakes up Odysseus, and he comes cruising out, sand encrusted, gargoyle like, and with fronds covering his private parts, and scares off all the. In short, Odysseus is taken in by Nausicaa, cleansed and washed and bathed, and she is the anointed one, and they've met. And now he says, "Can you take more care of me?" And she says, "Sure, I'll bring you to town." And that's where we left off the story pretty much. She says, "This is where you go, and this is how you win over my parents. Start with my mom. Work it out through my mom, Arete, the queen." And Odysseus is left praying to Athena, saying, "Help me figure out a way to win these people over so that I can get home."
Exactly right. So that's an amazing summary. So that sounds really good. So let me pull up the text for book 7.
Gerald is okay. I mean, I sent you that in the email. He's okay. He's a little.
Yeah,
trollopy.
I mean he's 100. He's 100 years old.
Yeah,
So,
no, he's trollopy. He's very, very, very refined and condensed, and he's got the bow tie on. He's like William F. Buckley as opposed to some more recent moderator.
right. And I just
Not
feel
that I'm
like
keen on.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
No, not that I'm keen on using conservatives as my go-to, but he's very, very. Fitzgerald is very conservative.
Well, yeah, and that's just how that's my impression of essentially like I don't know exactly when he was written, but I would guess, you know, it's at least 72 years after his death. I looked it up. So he's probably like early 1900s. And I just feel like people in the 1890s versus 1900s and blah 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 are just, it's just a different time. And like when you look at like how people like wrote, did you ever have to read Wuthering Heights in school?
I read, well, not in school, but I've read the Brontes.
Okay.
I'm going to go look up Robert Fitzgerald.
Yeah, let's see.
Fitzgerald translator. Here we go. So he died in 1985.
He died in yeah. Oh wait, no. Fitzgerald died in 1985.
Robert Fitzgerald died in 1985.
Oh no! I really hope this version is out of copyright. I swear. I definitely. I shouldn't say I swear. I did look this up. Fitzgerald.
65.
Here we go. Look at this.
Was the
ChatGPT right here?
Yeah, you may be right. It may be that nobody preserved the copyright.
I got to take a look. I am curious.
1965 was the Odyssey.
Okay. Fitzgerald.
Are we German here?
Yes.
Yeah, Robert.
Fitzgerald. Oh, well, I've obviously deleted it. Here we go. If you're looking for an English translation, where is it? Fitzgerald. Oh, no. What's not public domain yet? Oh, no. I looked into this and I thought I was. Oh, no. Shoot.
It's not public domain.
Oh,
Still
no. This is what I...
1965 was when it was translated. He died in, I think it said 85.
Yeah.
You're 30 years away.
Oh, shoot. Is this Robert Fitzgerald? Oh, my goodness. I was under the impression I was using a So I have the Butler version.
This is Butler?
This is Butler. If you don't mind, actually, I'm going to switch over to the Butler, and now this isn't prepared. But I do actually want to switch.
It's the same book.
It's the same book, and we will just have to translate the we will just have to translate the names of the Greek gods. So that should be possible. I have a feeling for you that will be no problem whatsoever. Okay, well, do you want to start off reading?
Yeah, we can do that.
So actually, let me do. I know you already did a recap, but now I am recording because it's of me now. So let me do just a quick recap of book 6. So, like you had said, we Odysseus, who in this translation, in the Butler translation, is Ulysses. He's using the Roman names, and essentially, what happens is Odysseus lands his boat after Poseidon has wrecked it, or he doesn't really land his boat, but he crawls up on shore. He falls asleep. That's the end of book 5. And now we have Nausicaa, who is a princess of the city that he's landed in. She gets a message from Athena that she should go down and do her laundry so she looks pretty for all the men who are trying to get with her, not just get with her to marry her. She's a princess. She's trying to get married. So she goes down, and Athena has directed her over to Odysseus. Odysseus wakes up. She is naked with her slave girls.
He is.
Well, they're both naked actually. She's naked, bathing with her slave girls in the water, and she's doing her laundry. And he's naked, and they come over. So we kind of have this very obviously moment of sexual tension. So there's obviously some interest there. We get some foreshadowing that there's going to be some kind of romantic and sexual interest in this relationship. And so then essentially he doesn't reveal who he is to her, but she does show great hospitality to him, and he's like, I need some help getting home. He also flatters her. I need help getting home, and she says, come to my palace, but don't tell anybody that I sent you, because I shouldn't really be arriving with a man. And so here's the instructions, and go to my mom, who's the queen, Arete, as you said, and will be go ahead and ask her for help, because she's she can help you out. So, but come here tomorrow by yourself. So that's where we left off, or excuse me, not tomorrow, I believe, later this evening by yourself. So she goes back to the palace without him, and we know that he's going to follow her. So that's essentially where we left off in book 6. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, now you can pick up reading book 7 if you want.
Yeah, I have the Pope thing. You want to hear the first 2 things from Pope?
Please, let's do it.
This is book 7. Here on book 6 showing, so let's just bring up book 7.
Thank you.
All right. So thus then did Ulysses wait and pray, but the girl drove on to the town. The patient heavenly man thus suppliant prayed, while the slow mules draws on the imperial maid. To the proud street she moves, the public gaze. The turning wheel before the palace stays. With ready love her brothers gathering round, receive the vestures, and the mules unbound.
That without seeing the text, that is like difficult to follow orally.
It's really annoying.
That is tough. Really that is tough for me to follow orally. Like, I didn't even really follow it entirely.
No. It's
because nobody talks like that, right?
I've tried to read Pope, the Ulysses, or the Odyssey, and it's Ulysses and Pope as well. I've tried to read the Odyssey and Pope. I tried to read Chapman. It's like, Meanwhile, so I'm with Emily. I've read Lattimore, Fitzgerald, not the Odyssey, and Fagles, but I like Emily Wilson. It's much more where we're at.
I like Emily Wilson's translation very much. Absolutely. I have one other translation that I really like that I have in Vienna, and I will show you. I'll be back in about 2 weeks. I'll have the book then physically then, which I really like that translation. It's a bit older than Wilson's, but the Emily Wilson is just like crisp and modern and very readable. It's a really good translation, because so much of this, like even any of these that we've looked at, are all kind of like, there's always like a bit that we're like, ugh, versus like the Emily Wilson one is just like good and modern.
To the point.
Right.
Yeah.
And I believe it's pretty faithful to the Greek as well, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard that.
She starts off, and you can follow this. Odysseus sat patiently and prayed. Hello. What did Pope say? God knows.
Mm-hmm.
Thus then did Ulysses wait and pray. Mm-hmm. But the girls drove on to the town. Mm-hmm. When she reached her father's house, she drew up at the gateway, and her brothers, comely as the gods, gathered round her, took the mules out of the wagon, and carried the clothes into the house. while she went to her own room where an old servant, Eurymedusa of Epira, lit the fire for her. This old woman had been brought by sea from Epira and had been chosen as a prize for Alcinous because he was king over the Phaeacians, and the people obeyed him as though he were a god. She had been nursed in Acecia and had now lit the fire for her and brought her supper for her into her own room.
Keep going. You're doing great.
Oh, you have to. I'm trying to scroll down. Presently, Ulysses got up to go towards the town, and Minerva shed a thick mist. Athena. And Athena shed a thick mist all round him to hide him in case any of the proud Phaeacians who met him should be rude to him or ask him who he was. Then, as he was just entering the town, she came towards him in the likeness of a little girl carrying a pitcher. She stood right in front of him, and Odysseus said, "My dear, will you be so kind as to show me the house of King Alcinous? I am an unfortunate foreigner in distress, and do not know one in your town, and country." Then Athena said, "Yes, Father Stranger." Mr. Foreigner is what Emily Wilson said.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, because I was just reading it. "Yes, Father Stranger, I will show you the house you want, for Alcinous lives quite close to my own father. I will go before you and show the way, but say not a word as you go, and do not look at any man, nor ask him questions, for the people here cannot abide strangers, and do not like men who come from some other place. They are a seafaring folk, and sail the seas by the grace of Neptune in ships that glide along like thought, or as a bird in the air."
Okay, very nice,
Poseidon.
beautiful. So what happened here? You want to summarize it?
Yeah. Odysseus is doing exactly what Nausicaa said. Wait till I get into town, and then make your way to the palace where my father and the royal people are all hanging out, and go. And then we find out that she is being taken care of. Her brothers help her with the laundry. Her old nurse, Eurydice, on the Nausicaa side, Eurymedusa. They have the same first Eury. That's interesting. Is that some Greek contraction?
Where are we talking about?
Well, Eurymedusa, because Telemachus, it's Eurydice. Eurydice. It's the same first four letters. I don't know Greek at all. I have less Greek than Shakespeare.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know Greek at all.
Yeah,
Europe. I don't know. In any event, she's taken care of. She's fed. A fire is made for her. And then Odysseus goes to town. And a thick mist is spread about him so that nobody sees him. And Athena warns him to keep quiet and not attract attention. Basically, don't talk to anyone. And then he finds a little girl, just like Nausicaa said in book 6. It's so easy to find a little child could lead you to it. He finds a little child. Athena comes to him as a small child. And he asks her, and she says, of course. She's a water-bearing pitcher, so like an aquarium. I don't know if that has any meaning or not. But, and she shows him where to go.
Exactly. No, that all sounds really good. Yeah. So the girl goes back. Odysseus. So in this translation, again called Ulysses, using the Roman names, but Odysseus is going to the town. Athena disguises herself, so Odysseus doesn't know that he's getting help from Athena. And again, this is Minerva is Athena. This is not McGonagall. This is the Roman name of the goddess of wisdom. And so she is so Athena approaches him just like you said, disguised as a child, gives him guidance to get there. And the other thing that she does, Athena does two things. She also shrouds him in a mist so that the somewhat xenophobic Phaeacians can don't notice him as he's walking to the palace. So that all sounds really good.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I believe. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we should be right here.
I can make
a bit bigger.
I got it. Okay. On this she led the way, and Ulysses followed in her steps. But not one of the Phaeacians could see him as he passed through the city in the midst of them. For the great goddess Athena, in her goodwill towards him, had hidden him in a thick cloud of darkness. He admired their harbors, ships, places of assembly, and the lofty walls of the city, which, with the palisade on top of them, were very striking. And when they reached the king's house, Athena said, "This is the house, Father Stranger, which you would have me show you. You will find a number of great people sitting at table, but do not be afraid. Go straight in, for the bolder a man is, the more likely he is to carry his point, even though he is a stranger. First find the queen. Her name is Arete, and she comes of the same family as her husband Alcinous. They both descend originally from Poseidon, who was father to Nausithous by Paraboia, a woman of great beauty. Paraboia was the youngest daughter of Eurymedon, who at one time reigned over the giants, but he ruined his ill-fated people and lost his own life to boot. Poseidon, however, lay with his daughter, and she had a son by him, the great Nausithous, who reigned over the Phaeacians. Nausithous had two sons, Rhexenor and Alcinous. Apollo killed the first of them while he was still a bridegroom and without male issue. But he left a daughter, Arete, whom Alcinous married, and honors as no other woman is honored of all those that keep house along with their husbands.
Sounds good. I don't think there's a ton here we need to follow up on, really. This is kind of, it feels very Lord of the Rings. Obviously, Lord of the Rings would come second, so, but it's, we're kind of getting that familial backstory. I don't think there's anything that's absolutely crucial here, unless you're a real, scholar of every sub-story in the text, but that sounds good. Right. It reminds me a lot of Greek mythology, where you kind of have all these like intertwined stories. I mean, it is Greek, mythology, where you have all these intertwined stories, and so I'm not sure. I'm sure there's plenty of people, like plenty of university professors, who are very interested in like how this story that she's repeating intertwines with actual Greek mythology. I'm not one of them, so no. So that.
But the issue here is that Arete is his niece, which is a little bit cringy now. That's okay.
Is the king's niece, who is his
husband? Alcinous and Rhexenor are brothers,
right?
And Arete is Rhexenor's daughter. So Arete is Alcinous' niece. He married her.
Yeah, that sounds right. Let me look here one more time. So her name is,
what's the next one? It's the next one down. Nausithous had two sons, Rhexenor and Alcinous.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always been a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a bit. That's strange. I wonder.
Okay.
I don't hear any criticism of
that.
On the same page. One other thing I want to say here is Arete. So you said you don't know any Greek. Do you know what this means in Greek?
Isn't it white-armed? I gotta look that up.
Not that I know of. I know of it as the word for excellence. So like.
Maybe.
Yeah. So let's just try. I'm just gonna try the word Arete.
I'm looking at the back. Emily gives a glossary.
Let me just type in Arete right here.
Oh, shouldn't you have Arete in here?
Yes. So
Queen of Phaeacia.
So in here, if I change to English, Arete is a concept in ancient Greek thought that refers to excellence of any kind, especially a person or thing's full realization of potential or inherent function. It may also refer to moral virtue. So, it's also a name, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, sounds good. Let me pick up reading here just so we have a kind of a back and forth of reading. I don't usually do the reading, but since we're small today. So, thus she both was and still is respected beyond measure by her children, as Alcinous himself, and by the whole people, who look upon her as a goddess and greet her whenever she goes about the city. For she is a thoroughly good woman, both in head and heart. And when any women are friends of hers, she will help their husbands also to settle their disputes. If you can gain her goodwill, you may have every hope of seeing your friends again and getting safely back to your home and country. So this is still, again, just a quick reminder. Right. So I kind of picked up in the middle. This is still Athena speaking, disguised as the child, and so this is very good advice. When we get advice from Athena, it's very good advice. Then Athena left Scheria, I don't know how to pronounce that, Scheria, and went away over the sea. She went to Marathon and to the spacious streets of Athens, where she entered the abode of Erechtheus. Then Odysseus went on to the house of Alcinous, and he pondered much as he paused a while before reaching the threshold of bronze. For the splendor of the palace was like that of the sun or moon. The walls on either side were of bronze from end to end, and the cornice was of blue enamel. The doors were gold and hung on pillars of silver that rose from a floor of bronze, while the lintel was silver and the hook of the door was of gold. On either side there were gold and silver mastiffs, which Vulcan, the goddess of what's that called? Like when
Sculpture.
welding or
Oh yeah.
metalworking. There we go.
Oh, it's Hephaestus. Right, right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
With
right.
his consummate skill,
The blacksmith.
had fashioned expressly to keep watch over the palace of King Alcinous. So they were immortal and could never grow old. Seats were ranged along the wall, here and there, from one end to the other, with coverings of fine woven work, which the women of the house had made. Here the chief persons of the Phaeacians used to sit and eat and drink, for there was abundance at all seasons, and there were golden figures of young men with lighted torches in their hands, raised on pedestals, to give light by night to those who are at the table. There are 50 maid servants in the house, which probably means slaves, some of whom are always grinding rich yellow grain at the mill, while others work at the loom or sit and spin, and their shuttles go back and forwards like fluttering aspen leaves, while the linen is so closely woven that it turns to oil. As the Phaeacians are the best sailors in the world, so their women excel all others in weaving, for Minerva has taught them all manner of useful art, and they are very intelligent. Or Athena. Perfect. Okay, so let's pause here. So I'm going to make a couple of comments, and I don't know if you have any comments you want to make, but one thing I'm going to make here, so I did notice this. I'm actually going to take a second and look up and see if I can't see in Perseus if Alcinous means something, but nous in ancient Greek, Nous, is so his like is the so nous is the word for mind, mind, and so
Is he wise or something?
I don't know. So I don't know if Alka has a meaning. So I'm just curious. Might and strength. So we have okay. So might and strength. So I'm guessing it's got like a mighty mind. And so the husband is mighty mind, and the wife is excellence. So this is I mean, there's always a question of whether the names match, but in this case, I think it's fair to say they probably do. And then what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, and then I don't remember if I talked about this with you, Reuven. Were you there? Did we mention, and did I mention anything about spinning, women spinning, like weaving in ancient Greece?
You can mention it again. I
Okay,
don't remember
sounds good.
exactly.
So it is a great thing for your wife to do. If you are a woman and again, this is patriarchy. If you are a woman and you knit or weave, it's really, weave, spin, whatever, that is terrific. We all like that because two things. The first thing is no men are involved. So you do that at home and no men can see you. No men have access to you. Like you sit in your house and you weave, and at the end we get some fabric, which is nice and great. And, especially if you're artistic, it's terrific because it's a great decoration. We have beautiful clothing, blah, blah, blah. But just as important, and this is truly a part of it, is that there is no need for you to go out and leave the house. There's no need for you to interact with any men. You you don't meet any men, so you sit in your room and you weave and create cloth. And so virtuous women weave. And so it's actually like a symbol of virtue for women in ancient Greece, not for men, because it does kind of represent female chastity as well. So the women, the Phaeacians, their women excel in weaving. So that's a good thing. This is a virtuous group of people, and so that's good. And the other reason, and I didn't say there's two reasons. And the other reason that weaving is great is because you are definitely not challenging the patriarchy. The men are like, I really don't want to be weaving. That sucks. It's not something I want to be doing. Like, it's work that we kind of need to do so we all have clothes, but it's not like man's work. And like, I want to be out like doing politics or like hunting or something. And so that's another way in which it's a great job for women and really supports the patriarchy. So that's so weaving is a sign of virtue and chastity for Greek women, and that transfers then onto the Romans as well. Sounds good. Do you have any comments you want to make on these paragraphs? Nope, no problem. No, you don't have to. There's not a ton to say here.
Yeah. I mean, I hear things that are echoed throughout. The water bearer is played upon in the marriage of Isaac when the servant shows up, right? And Rebecca shows up as a water bearer with a pitcher and offers to water his camels, and that's how he knows that's the girl she should
Mm-hmm.
marry. So I'm wondering how well these stories played with each other. And then
So
also you have,
what is the part here that reminds you of that?
well, she shows up. That's who's leading. That's who's leading. It's from before, but it's who's leading Odysseus about is a girl with a water pitcher. I meant to mention that before.
Right. Okay.
So
Well, so it's not
just
the,
a
but it's
signal.
not the girl. It's not the. I mean, I see your point, though. I do see the point. That's interesting. I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that at all. I didn't make that connection at all.
Well,
That is an interesting point. Because
So
it's
all
not the
these
girl
stories,
herself who's the. It's not the girl herself. Like this girl is Minerva or Athena in
yeah,
disguise. But that, yeah, so
right.
that's interesting. But there could
And then
be
you
there could be
have
some illusion there because there is she's she also made him
how
beautiful.
well, right? How well do these stories know each other? How well do these authors? I mean, the best authors of the world today are always well informed about the best authors of their day. So, no doubt, the stories that were written in Mesopotamia and ancient Canaan were known to the Homers who talked about these stories. It's the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting. That's
Mm-hmm.
all.
No, it's
And
a
then,
fair point. It's a fair point because it's a very interesting point.
and then you guys, we have a FedEx truck.
Hmm.
He's going to be gone in a few seconds, but they're protecting me. Austin, and then all this spinning while you were doing that, I went and looked up the. I'm not sure what this is from. The why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, and yet I say to you that even Solomon, in all his glory, was not arrayed like one of these. The spinning being something that you're really worried about, but why do you worry about 800 years later? You've got, or 1,000 years later, whenever this was written, you've got the Christian take on the need for spinning. What are you worried about?
Mm-hmm.
Clothes will be provided. God will provide. So it's a very different outlook
Mm-hmm.
than the Greek outlook. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Just stuff that comes to mind as we read through this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, that's a good point. That's a good point for sure. Okay, sounds good. So I just read. So you pick up here.
Outside the gate of the outer court, there's a large garden of about 4 acres with a wall all round it. It is full of beautiful trees, pears, pomegranates, and the most delicious apples. There are luscious figs also and olives in full growth. The fruits never rot nor fail all the year round, neither winter nor summer, for the air is so soft that a new crop ripens before the old has dropped. Pear grows on pear, apple on apple, and fig on fig, and so also with the grapes, for there is an excellent vineyard. On the level ground of a part of this, the grapes are being made into raisins. In another part, they are gathered. Some are being trodden in the wine tubs. Others further on have shed their blossom and are beginning to show fruit. Others, again, are just changing color. In the furthest part of the ground, there are beautifully arranged beds of flowers that are in bloom all the year round. 2 streams go through it. The one turned in ducts throughout the whole garden, while the other is carried under the ground of the outer courts of the house itself, and the townspeople draw water from it. Such, then, were the splendors with which the gods had endowed the house of King Alcinous. So here Ulysses stood for a while and looked about him, but when he had looked long enough, he crossed the threshold and went within the precincts of the house. There he found all the chief people among the Phaeacians making their drink offerings to Hermes, which they always did the last thing before going away for the night. He went straight through the court, still hidden by the cloak of darkness in which Athena had enveloped him, till he reached Arete and King Alcinous. Then he laid his hands upon the knees of the queen, and at that moment the miraculous darkness fell away from him and he became visible. Everyone was speechless with surprise at seeing a man there, but Odysseus began at once with his petition. Queen Arete, he exclaimed, daughter of great Rhexenor, in my distress I humbly pray you, as also your husband and these your guests, who may heaven prosper with long life and happiness, and may they leave their possessions to their children and all the honors conferred upon them by the state, to help me home to my own country as soon as possible, for I have long been in trouble and away from my friends. Then he sat down on the hearth among the ashes, and they all held their peace, till presently the old hero Alcinous, who was an excellent speaker and an elder among the Phaeacians, plainly and in all honesty addressed them thus.
Do one more paragraph.
Alcinous, he said.
Yeah, perfect.
Alcinous, he said, It is not creditable to you that a stranger should be seen sitting among the ashes of your heart. Everyone is waiting to hear what you are about to say. Tell him then to rise and take a seat on a stool inlaid with silver, and bid your servants mix some wine and water, that we may make a drink offering to Zeus, the Lord of thunder, who takes all well-disposed suppliants under his protection, and let the housekeeper give him some supper of whatever there may be in the house.
Perfect. Very good. Beautiful. Okay, so you want to summarize this?
Yeah, where did we start? Oh, so the garden is forever. It's eternally fruitful, which is interesting. And it's beautiful. That's enough of that. And Odysseus observes and admires that he makes his way to the royal couple. And he is still enshrouded by a mist and nobody can see him. He's got the cloak of invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
And he grasps, unlike he did with Nausicaa, he says, this is an opportunity where I need to grasp the knees and be a full, total, 100% supplicant. And he begs Arete to protect him and to provide him with that which he asks for, which is a passage home. And now everyone is surprised and nothing happens for a moment. There's stunned silence, I guess. And then Alcinous says, hey, Alcinous, we're willing to wait and watch and hope and see what you say. But I think what you should do, because Alcinous is well respected, is take care of this guy and seat him and feed him and treat him with all the hospitality that is becoming a king and queen.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, perfect. That all sounds really good. So I'm just gonna make a couple quick comments here. So just like you said, very, very beautiful kingdom. That was here. That was also here. It's definitely something that has been highlighted. Is that like Odysseus is somewhat in awe? Even he's not acting in awe, but we should certainly as readers be somewhat in awe of this amazingly beautiful kingdom. And then secondly, one of the so this sounds just like a fantastic place again, and we already heard that the princess is beautiful. I don't know if you were there, but a comment that we've made a couple of times is that guest friendship is clearly a sign of people we like, and immediately this royal family or this Alcinous is recommending to the family, like, let's be very hospitable to this guest. So right off the bat, certainly this guy, and assuming that the royal family responds positively, which we're about to find out that they are, assuming that they show friendship, guest friendship, just like their daughter just showed guest friendship to him, then we're going to have a very good impression of them as well. So this guest friendship is a recurring theme. Patriarch security, recurring theme. It's a value that's kind of emphasized. Guest friendship is a value that's kind of emphasized. Like, yes, if you show guest friendship, we in general are going to have a very good impression of you. And also we see here that Odysseus did exactly what the gods, wanted him to do. He did exactly what the girl told him to do. He did exactly what the god told him to do, and that's going to work out well for him. So I think that all sounds good. One of the things that we should note here, it's a small little thing, but that it's almost like he magically appears in the palace, right? Because actually he literally does magically appear, so he's really also kind of making quite the first impression here. And one other thing that we should keep in mind is that he is perfectly clean, which is not again, this is something that we talked about last week. It's unusual that he has literally bathed today and his clothes are washed today. So this is also like a man, and they just said like God, like Odysseus, he's put on olive oil all over his skin today, blah, blah. So he is looking very sharp. And so he kind of is appearing in that situation. And then one other quick reminder that we had discussed this last week, and I'm sure you'll remember, but he does come in and he grasps the knees of the Queen Arete, and this is something that's been recommended to him. But again, in ancient Greece, it's called a supplicant. And so when you act as a supplicant or you do something as a supplicant, it means you grasp their knees, which to us I think is the equivalent of like going like this, like please, please. And it's kind of like giving up your full power. It's like sacrificing your full power. You have no ego. You're kind of handing all your power to the person that you're speaking with when you grab their knees. And that's just like the sign in ancient Greece. So he's really kind of lowering himself to the queen here. And that's, that when you hear that expression in any ancient Greek literature, that's the cultural symbol that's going on, is if you act as a supplicant, or if you supplicate, then you're grabbing their knees and giving the other person all of your power, essentially. You're doing it completely egolessly.
Right.
Anything you want to comment on real quick?
Well, the garden, again, is that the Garden of Eden? Is it reflecting back the two rivers and all that? Seems to be a theme with gardens in ancient literature. That's no big deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely true. I mean, because the other thing is you think about, I'm also a garden guy today. I love gardens. I think gardens are beautiful.
Right.
And I mean, one of the things I think it's
it says two streams go through it, and that's exactly what you have.
That's an interesting
at the end of the story of the Tale of Eden, right? The idea of
or even Mesopotamia,
two
right?
Rivers. Exactly.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Again,
I didn't think anything of that.
I think these guys are in communication, or at least they're aware of. It wouldn't make sense for them not to be. I mean, the troubadours, the minstrels, the wandering entertainment would have made a lot of sense for the troubadours who went from Middle East through the Mediterranean to know these stories, and they're intermingled. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's really interesting. I didn't think anything of the two streams, but that's a fair point. And to kind of build on the point around the garden, like certainly they're beautiful. Certainly, most of us really like that, like, well done gardens. But I think then, to me, and I'm kind of hypothesizing, but I think pretty fairly right now, that like a garden is, so what do you eat in ancient Greece for dessert? If you want anything that's sweet, it's fruit, because sugar is not available. Sugar, the reason that Haiti was a huge slave colony through the 18th century, or not through the 18th century, but into the 18th century, is because the British could make so much money on sugar. And so, sugar, like today, sugar is cheap. Yeah, today sugar is cheap, but through the 1700s, sugar was extremely expensive. Even I remember my grandmother used to say, I think it was my grandmother, it was my grandfather. No, I think it was my grandmother used to say, like, and this was, I don't know, 1940, that like at the end of the week they would try, and every Sunday the family would get a candy bar, one candy bar that that would be divided between all the kids, and so they have like a bite of chocolate each week, and so just like, anyways, my point is just, yes. A garden, when you talk about figs and things like that, to us, figs are like a couple bucks at the grocery store today, but, the most delicious apples, fruit, I think, has even like a much more special place in the ancient world because it's sweet. And where else are you going to get anything sweet? It's your dessert. Right. It's got to be so delicious.
Right. So I can share this with you. My new addiction is listening to books on tape. I've been walking the dogs for ages, and then this past spring, my son said, "Dad, why don't you listen to books on tape while you're walking?" I said, "Okay." And I had a library card, so I used Libby, and I started listening to books on tape. And among them, one of them that I listened to was Hamilton, right?
Okay.
And Alexander Hamilton is from the West Indies, and plantations and such. Oh yeah, he was not born in the States. His mother was in the West Indies. His father was from Scotland, and they went to the islands somewhere. I can't tell you which one, but that's where he's from. And among the interests there was exactly as you mentioned, the idea of sugar plantations, right? And the mistreatment of whoever it was that was working the various crops.
Yeah, probably why he was
Which,
so opposed to slavery. I mean, obviously, plenty of people saw slavery and were so opposed and weren't opposed to it. But
right.
yeah, but interestingly, but he saw it firsthand because I just think that people in the North did sometimes just miss. Like if you grew up in Boston and you didn't really ever see any slaves, like you could, you saw it like twice, but it was something happening over there. It was easy to kind of forget about it. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that he grew. I just assumed that he was born in the future U.S. Huh.
No, no, that was he came from nowhere basically, and that's hello. It's like Odysseus in the court of Alcinous and Arete. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't throw himself at anyone's knees basically, but he did glom on to Washington, and Washington came to rely upon him as his most trusted advisor.
Hmm.
He stayed in the court of Arete. He stayed in the court of Washington, so to speak.
Hmm. Interesting.
Anyway, it's very interesting. It's a
And
very long listen, but it's among the dozens of books I've now listened to since I started doing this.
I will be interested. I will be interested to take a look at that. Okay, let me pick up here. Yeah, I do have. Yeah, I always have a hard cutoff at 2:30. So 25 minutes. We'll get through as much as we can. We may skip over a bit in the middle. Okay, let me pick up here. When Alcinous heard this, he took Odysseus by the hand, raised him from the hearth, and bade him to take the seat of Laodamas, who had been sitting beside him and was his favorite son. A maidservant then brought him water in a beautiful golden ewer and poured it in a silver basin for him to wash his hands. And she drew a clean table beside him, and a servant brought him bread and offered him many good things in the house. And Ulysses Odysseus ate and drank. Okay. Then Alcinous said to one of the servants, Pontonous, mix a cup of wine and hand it round that we may make wine offering. Excuse me, that we may make drink offerings to Jove, to Zeus, the Lord of Thunder, who is the protector of all the well-disposed suppliants. Pontonous then mixed the wine and water and handed it round. And after giving every man his drink offering, when they had made their offerings and had drunk each as much as he minded, Alcinous said, Aldermen and the town councilors of the Phaeacians, hear my words. You have had your supper, so now go to bed. Tomorrow morning I shall invite a still larger number of aldermen, and I will give a sacrificial banquet in honor of our guest, and then we can discuss the question of his escort and consider how we may at once send him back, rejoicing to his own country without trouble or inconvenience to himself, no matter how distant it may be. We must see that he comes to no harm while on his homeward journey. But when he is once at home, he will have to take back the luck he was born with, for better or worse, like other people. It is possible, however, that the stranger is one of the immortals who has come down from heaven to visit us. But in this case, the gods are departing from their usual practice, for hitherto they have made themselves perfectly clear. For hitherto they have made themselves perfectly clear to us when we have been offering at the hecatombs. They come and sit at our feasts just like one of ourselves, and if any solitary wayfarer happens to stumble upon them, or one other than them, it's some one or other of them, there we go, they offer no concealment, for we are near of kin to the gods as the Cyclops and the savage giants are. Okay, so I didn't do a great job of reading it, but that's okay. Let me see. Actually, let me read one more paragraph because we do need to get through this a little faster. Okay, actually, I can just summarize what happens in this paragraph, and then Odysseus is going to say, no, I am very much immortal. So what happens here, essentially, is we are just hearing about their hospitality primarily. The things I wanted to comment here. So we have a cup of wine that is handed around. First they pour a libation. So this is common in ancient Greece, where they take wine. It's very common to mix wine and water. I can't quite recall. I believe it's because it stores the alcohol in a more concentrated form, and so it doesn't go bad as quickly. Like, it doesn't rot. I believe. I may be misspeaking on that. I did learn the reason for that at some point. But anyways, it's very normal in ancient Greece. You get wine and then you add water to it. And then you also pass the cup around, which is actually, again, we've talked about some religious allusions. That is very much what happens at the Last Supper, in the crucifixion story with Jesus. This is just a normal practice. at this time, like today, we're kind of like, oh, sharing a cup with other people, but it's a lot like, actually, a professor made this comment to me, and I'm like, actually, there's some truth to it. That it's not dissimilar to how people smoke a joint today. Where if you were to smoke a joint in a place where it's legal, which I believe it's legal in Minnesota, just like it's in Ohio, you can have it's a common practice is to kind of pass it around. With um, same thing happens with wine in the ancient world. It's just very normal, and that definitely is how it happens, just all the time. Happens in Plato, happens in the crucifixion story. It's happening here. So that was one little thing I was going to say, and then basically, we're seeing a lot of guest friendship here. We'll plan a banquet for him. We'll make sure he gets home. Very generous, actually. And then there's even a wondering: he's like, is this a god? Because he's kind of appeared from mist. He's beautiful, clean, blah blah blah. And then he's like, no, I'm not a god. And thank you so much. Let me see if there's anything I'm missing here. I prepped a different translation of this, so
That's fine.
yeah, sounds good. So I think that's good. Yeah, and we'll plan on heading home as soon as I can. Sounds good. You want to pick up here?
Thus did he speak. Everyone approved his saying and agreed that he should have his escort inasmuch as he had spoken reasonably. Then, when they had made their drink offerings and had drunk each as much as he was minded, they went home to bed, every man in his own abode, leaving Odysseus in the cloister with Arete and Alcinous while the servants were taking the things away after supper. Arete was the first to speak, for she recognized the shirt, cloak, and good clothes that Odysseus was wearing as the work of herself and of her maids. So she said, "Stranger, before we go any further, there is a question I should like to ask you. Who and whence are you, and who gave you those clothes? Did you not say you had come here from beyond the sea?" And Odysseus answered, "It would be a long story, madam, were I to relate in full the tale of my misfortunes, for the hand of heaven has been laid heavy upon me. But as regards your question, there is an island far away in the sea, which is called the Ogygian. Here dwells the cunning and powerful goddess Calypso, daughter of Atlas. I don't know who these are. Circe, I don't know who Atlas is in Greek.
Atlas is a titan. We'll come back to that. Yeah.
Okay. Here dwells the cunning and powerful goddess Circe, Calypso, daughter of Atlas. She lives by herself, far from all neighbors, human or divine. Fortune, however, brought me to her hearth, all desolate and alone, for Zeus struck my ship with his thunderbolts and broke it up in mid-ocean. My brave comrades were drowned, every man of them, but I stuck to the keel and was carried hither and thither for the space of 9 days, till at last, during the darkness of the 10th night, the gods brought me to the Ogygian island, where the great goddess Circe lives. She took me in and treated me with the utmost kindness. Indeed, she wanted to make me immortal that I might never grow old, but she could not persuade me to let her do so. I stayed with Circe 7 years straight on end and watered the good clothes.
It is Calypso also in the Greek.
Oh, Calypso is the second goddess. Circe was the one who turned them into horses or wolves or whatever. Okay, good. I stayed with Calypso 7 years straight on end and watered the good clothes she gave me with my tears during the whole time. But at last, when the 8th year came round, she bade me depart of her own free will, either because Zeus had told her she must, or because she had changed her mind. She sent me from her island on a raft, which she provisioned with abundance of bread and wine. Moreover, she gave me good stout clothing and sent me a wind that blew both warm and fair. Days 7 and 10 did I sail over the sea, and on the 18th I caught sight of the first outlines of the mountains upon your coast, and glad indeed was I to set eyes upon them. Nevertheless, there was still much trouble in store for me, for at this point Poseidon would let me go no further, and raised a great storm against me. The sea was so terribly high that I could no longer keep to my raft, which went to pieces under the fury of the gale, and I had to swim for it till wind and current brought me to your shores.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm actually gonna have you jump forward a little bit. Can you pick up here? Skip the first half.
I woke as the sun was westering and saw your daughter's maidservants playing upon the beach, and your daughter among them, looking like a goddess. I besought her aid, and she proved to be of an excellent disposition, much more so than could be expected from so young a person, for young people are apt to be thoughtless. She gave me plenty of bread and wine, and when she had me washed in the river, she also gave me the clothes in which you see me. Now, therefore, though it has pained me to do so, I have told you the whole truth.
Okay, perfect. So, so basically, I'll just comment here. So basically, we're getting a recap of actually the whole Odyssey till now. The part I actually had you jump forward wasn't the part I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. So we got a recap of the whole Odyssey right now. Essentially, the queen is suspicious because she's like, so this all sounds good, but then all of a sudden she's like, well, wait a minute. Those actually look like my daughter's clothes that you're wearing right now. And what is the reason he's wearing her daughter's clothes? Because he was naked when he landed, and so she gave her some of her linens that she was washing. So he's got some of her linens and the queen is clever and recognizes that. So he tells the story, and so now she's kind of caught up. I don't know if there's anything that we want to else. Yeah, basically just we get a recap of the story till now. And some praise of the daughter. It wasn't quite what I thought. There was a point there I was going to make that it didn't quite pan out. Anything you want to comment on in the recap of the Odyssey?
No, this is a pretty straightforward retelling. We're going to get more depth and detail later, but this is the interesting part is that Arete is suspicious why he's wearing what she herself knows she made. So, he keeps answering.
Fair enough, though.
This is what Odysseus is good at. He doesn't, like my mom used to say about one of her grandsons.
True, very good point.
He doesn't have to look in his pocket for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, Odysseus, he's got, sometimes he tells the truth and sometimes he tells stories.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a very good observation. Very true. 100%. That's 100% true. He is crafty, 100%. And in the Wilson translation, I believe I don't remember the words, but he keeps saying things like crafty Odysseus and blah, blah. So I don't know what the Greek is that she's translating from there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've read that Wilson one. So, okay, these are the two paragraphs I wanted you to read. Will you read these two as well?
Then Alcinous said, "Stranger, it was very wrong of my daughter not to bring you on at once to my house along with the maids, seeing that she was the first person whose aid you asked. Pray, do not scold her," replied Odysseus. "She is not to blame. She did tell me to follow along with the maids, but I was ashamed and afraid, for I thought you might perhaps be displeased if you saw me. Every human being is sometimes a little suspicious and irritable."
So here we have a difference between, this is the first place where we've had a difference between the truth, like what actually happened, and his story. So what is that difference?
Well, she was the one who told him to follow.
Exactly.
And, right. So exactly. She did tell me to follow, but I was ashamed and afraid. No, she said for her honor, he should follow so that nobody is suspicious that she has found herself a husband when that's not the case.
Right.
And so here, he doesn't tell them that she is ready to be married, that she's thinking about marriage. So it's hard to know what is right and what is wrong, but it appears as if Odysseus is protecting Nausicaa just a little bit from her parents' aspirations.
Yeah, I think I don't know exactly. Like, I think there's different ways to be interpreted, and I don't think it's ever explained, and so it's open to interpretation. My interpretation was more around, so she was, I mean, I don't think we're supposed to have a bad impression of her in any sense.
Right, no.
She, I think, your interpretation is possible. My interpretation was more just because Alcinous had said, this is what she should have done, is brought you right here. He's kind of protecting her because she didn't know exactly how he would react, and it was more about other people. But it's interesting. So, I think he would. But either way, we're agreed that he's definitely protecting her.
Well, he's taking the blame. I was ashamed and afraid.
Right.
He's taking responsibility, and that's fine. But he's also covering for her. Maybe they don't need to know how smart she is and how good she is. Maybe they know. I mean, maybe he's praised her enough. I don't think either of us are in odds with our interpretation here.
Right. Okay, sounds good. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pick up here. "Stranger," replied Alcinous, "I am not the kind of man to get angry about nothing. It is always better to be reasonable, but by Father Zeus, Athena, and Apollo, now I see what kind of person you are and how much you think as I do. I wish you would stay here and marry my daughter and become my son-in-law." Kind of abrupt, but also not that weird in ancient Greece, I don't think. I will, if you will, although I may be mistaken about that. It's still probably pretty fast, but it's a story. If you will stay, I will give you a house and an estate, and no one, heaven forbid, shall keep you here against your wish, and that you may be sure of this, and I will attend tomorrow to the matter of your escort. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to skip over some of this other stuff because we are a little short on time. But one thing I think that's important to note here is he's getting an offer to marry a princess. He will be the son-in-law of this terrific sounding king and queen. It's on this beautiful island with access to these, gardens. And as we heard in the last book, we have a beautiful princess who a lot of guys want to marry. And she is very much a goody two-shoes. Like, she is a chaste woman, we believe. We have every indication that she's kind of a chaste woman. So this is a very appealing offer. This should be a very appealing offer. And it's something that Odysseus is going to decline. That shouldn't really come as a surprise because we know the stories about him getting back to Ithaca and back to his wife, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that one of the things that we're really supposed to infer from this is, like, obviously Penelope really loves Odysseus, and she's been crying for him, but we also can certainly sense that he really loves her, and he also really loves home. And so he has this other option, this other amazing option that most men would kill to have, and he's gonna end up turning it down. This opportunity to be like prince and eventually king of this beautiful, beautiful place. So that's something to kind of note here as we look at Odysseus's arete, his virtue. You will see how what magnificent oarsmen my sailors are. So he's in this wonderful opportunity, and he's like, no, I just want to go home. Okay, so I do want to skip forward a little bit. Good. Oh, here's book 8. Oh, perfect. Then we'll finish.
Yeah. Very, very quickly, remind me, because I don't remember. I know with Calypso, she offers to marry him and make him a god. And here now, Alcinous has offered to marry him off to his daughter. Was there an offer like that as well with Circe? I don't recall.
So who is this Circe?
Wasn't Circe the one who trapped him and his men on the island? Isn't there a 3 and 7? Help me out. It's been a while since I've read it. I thought the first time he's trapped on an island, it's with Circe, and then the second time it's with Calypso.
Well, if I think Circe is going to come forward. It's been a while, so I haven't prepped that far forward. If I'm not mistaken, Circe is going to. Let's see here.
Yeah, the best one is Odysseus visits her island on the way. Changes his crew into swine.
Oh no!
Right.
Calypso. Oh, is it Circe's? Is it not Calypso?
Yes.
Did I miss?
No, you were right. The second, there's Circe is on what island is it? Aeaea, whereas Calypso is on Ogygia. On Ogygia, on the way when he leaves Circe, all his men drown, and he lands there alone. Whereas on her island, she turns all of his
Thank
men
you.
into swine.
Right, exactly. So yeah,
What I'm asking, and I don't remember, is whether there was an offer of some eternal well-being, so to speak, that Circe gives to Odysseus, and we'll find out if we keep reading.
I can't remember.
I don't recall.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember right now. It's definitely possible.
Because that would be the three. That would be the 3 temptations once again. The stories reflecting each other. Though that comes much later, and these are each from different sources, and they're not necessarily the devil, but it's a literary device that is repeated. That's all. That's all I was going to get at.
No, it's true. Yeah, you're right. You are right. No, that's interesting. Actually, so now that I'm looking at the time, so I will actually finish this. Again, this is not the translation I had prepped, so I didn't realize where book 8 was. I was looking at this, and I was like, oh my goodness, we still have 60% of the thing to go through, but this is 60% of the or 40% of the book, not 60% of the or 50, yeah.
Right.
So let me actually pick up here. So this is where I left off. become my son-in-law. If you will stay, I will give you a house and an estate, but no one, heaven forbid, shall keep you here against your own wish. That you may be sure of this, I will attend to the matter of your escort. You can sleep during the whole voyage if you would like, and the men shall sail you over smooth waters, either to your own home or wherever you please, even though it will be a long way further than Euboea, which those of my people who saw it when they took yellow-haired Rhadamanthus to see Titius, the son of Gaia, tell me that it is the furthest of any place. And yet they did the whole voyage in a single day without distressing themselves and came back again afterwards. You will thus see how much my ships excel all others and what magnificent oarsmen my sailors are. Then was Odysseus glad and prayed aloud, saying, Father Zeus, grant that Alcinous may do all as he has said, for so he will win an imperishable name among mankind, and at the same time I will return to my country. Okay, sounds good. So we already kind of mentioned this. He's like, well, this is going to be wonderful. I'm going to return home. So you want to pick up here and read the last two paragraphs?
Sure. Thus did they converse. Then Arete told her maids to set a bed in the room that was in the gatehouse and make it with good red rugs, and to spread coverlets on the top of them with woolen cloaks for Odysseus to wear. The maids thereon went out with torches in their hands, and when they had made the bed, they came up to Odysseus and said, Rise, sir stranger. Ah, rise, sir stranger, and come with us, for your bed is ready. And glad indeed was he to go to his rest. So Odysseus slept in a bed placed in a room over the echoing gateway, but Alcinous lay in the inner part of the house with the queen, his wife, by his side.
Very nice. Beautiful. Okay, final comments. Anything else we want to comment here on in this book, in book 7 of the Odyssey?
Yeah, we get an inkling. The rules of the game are not clear, but we're learning them, right? Treatment of strangers is a blessing, to treat them well, to be hospitable. Providing for their well-being is good karma for you. And it's okay to boast in some respect. My men are the best, my sails are the best, my ships are the best, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions are always a little bit off-center. Not how did you get that shirt, but wherefore art thou wearing that clothing?
Well, we'd have to take a look at the, I'm not an expert in colloquial ancient Greek at all, so I'd have to understand if that's a translation issue or or a Homer,
Well, what does Emily say when Arete asks, where are you from, and who gave you those clothes? I thought you said you drifted here by sea. She sort of asks him roundabout. They're open-ended. Tell me about yourself is the rule of the questions. They're not really pointed. He's not being interrogated. He's asked, given an opportunity to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much more open. It's much less accusatory, which is the modern phrasing a lot of. I'm reading books where, oh my God, be less in his face, please.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the way it is in this story. It's much more allow the individual to speak their knowledge and their truth. A good lesson. It's a good lesson.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I will reflect on that one. Yeah, I see the point. I see the point. So sounds good. Okay, so I am going to wrap up here. So this is perfect. We got through book 7. So very happy about that. As you know, thank you very much for coming. Also, you are a terrific reader. You come with a ton of knowledge, so I really appreciate that. A lot of fun. Great to have you here.
This is fun. I love this. I love this book.
Good. Well,